That's almost as loud as it gets, so we'll just do that. Welcome everybody to the Global Climate Strike Grants Pass. My name is Brian. I'm with Josephine Climate Alliance. I'm really glad to see everybody here today. This is awesome. Normally when we do stuff like this in Grants Pass, there's like 10, 20 people. But this is real. Like, this is a lot of people. So this is amazing. I'm really happy. So just to let you know, the program, we're going to have a few speakers. We're going to have Phil and Bob play some music, and we're going to do some chants because I know people are fired up and I know people are motivated on this issue. We are going to have Brian holding his notes because he's never done anything like this before. I wanted to say that if there are any young people here today that feel compelled to speak during this program, we would encourage you to speak, and the crowd would love to hear you speak. So if there are any young people that want to speak, come talk to me or come talk to Vanessa, and you will have a chance to be heard up here. Just real quick, just so you know who I am, I'm Brian. I'm one of the co-directors at Josephine Climate Alliance. I was born and raised in Grants Pass. I graduated from Grants Pass High School, graduated from University of Oregon. Well, I don't know about that, but like this? Thank you. See, I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's also kind of cutting out intermittently, so I'm just going to stand closer to the speaker. So I grew up here. I've had an interest in environmental causes for, basically since I was a kid. I worked for 10 years on energy efficiency projects in Oregon, and now I'm working with Josephine Climate Alliance. And what we want to do, and the reason that you're all here, is because we want to get our local elected officials to make changes at the local level to start addressing climate change. Our community is already starting to see the effects of climate change, and I know everyone here knows that. And it's only going to intensify if we keep doing business as usual. So that's why we're all here. I wanted to also introduce Vanessa here in the red shirt. This is Vanessa. She is one of the co-directors with Josephine Climate Alliance. I have a little thing to read. Hold on. So Vanessa has a 10-year background as a community activist. She has spent time volunteering with Rogue Climate, a nonprofit that's dedicated to stopping the LNG pipeline and creating clean energy solutions. Vanessa's a recent graduate from the Master Climate Protector course offered by Southern Oregon Climate Action Now, and she's been an environmentalist for all of her adult life. So, Vanessa. I'm going to say one more thing before I hand it to Vanessa. This movement started with a young woman in Sweden. Who is it? It's Greta. Greta is why we're here. Greta started this, and for the people in the crowd who don't know who Greta is a 16-year-old Swedish young woman who about a year ago started climate striking on Friday from her school in front of the Swedish Parliament by herself. And from that, she has grown a movement around the world, and she has spurred demonstrations today around the world. She took a sailboat across the Atlantic to come to New York to participate in the event in New York today. 3 days before the UN Climate Summit starts on Monday. She is dedicated, she is motivated, and she has inspired me, and she's inspired a lot of people here and around the world. And so we love Greta, and we're going to follow Greta, and Greta is going to continue to motivate me and this group, and hopefully a lot of other people here. So thank you, Greta. Okay, now I'm going to give it to Vanessa, and I'm going to let her do her thing.
You guys are so amazing. You got a letter from Senator Jeff Merkley, and I'd like to read that to you. Dated September 20th, 2019. Thank you all for coming out today in response to one of the most urgent crises of our time. From more frequent and intense wildfires that blanket our state with smoke, to the ocean acidification that threatens our ecosystems and coastal economies, to more severe winter storms that damage our crops, Oregonians are already experiencing the effects of climate chaos. And we're not alone. Across the country, millions of Americans are facing stronger hurricanes, more frequent droughts, and torrential flooding, while our fellow global citizens struggle with destructive typhoons, extreme heat waves, and rising sea levels. We need bold, determined action to save our planet and save our way of life. That's the idea that has inspired people all over the world today. Together, you are sending a powerful message that the time to act is now.
Yeah!
There are powerful special interests trying to hold us back, but together, we are far more powerful. Through your grassroots mobilization, we can take the power back from the fossil fuel industry and shift our country toward 100% clean, renewable energy. We can pass before the people act and get the polluters' dark money out of politics. And through your commitment, we can not only eliminate the carbon pollution that drives climate chaos, but also create millions of new, good-paying jobs in the process. Thanks to each and every one of you for being a part in this movement. Please know that I'm doing everything I can in the U.S. Senate to fight alongside you. All my best, Senator Jeff Merkley. I should have read his letter second, because now it's my statement. With every great movement, there were powerful grassroots mobilizations. People gathered from all spectrums and backgrounds for a common goal. When you and I look back on history, we do not look back upon those who picketed and those who demanded a better future. We look down on those who turned a blind eye and plugged their ears. Climate change is not a left or a right issue. It is not gender discriminatory. Climate change does not discriminate. Statistically, it will affect those the worst who contributed the very least. Our way of life is being threatened, and we are told not to be emotional. We didn't want our futures destroyed by the indecision of local government. Today we stand here and demand a sustainable future, one that involves everyone on all sides of the aisle, from the Today is not just a protest. Today is an outcry for our lives. In the Rogue Valley, here are some climate projections that are due to change our ways of life. From the extended wildfire season to an increased drought, dwindling snowpacks, severe changes in agricultural seasons, hotter summers, and intense rainfall to the point of flooding, just to name a few. In order to make the necessary policy changes on a systemic level, we need to begin today, here, and now. For much too long, we've been pulling carbon from underneath the earth, refining it, burning it, and putting it into our atmosphere. Can you tell me? We've been sourcing energy for the same way since the 1800s. Can you tell me of anything else we've been doing for that long? We have the solutions. We have the innovation. We now need bold leadership to act towards the future. Today is not just a movement, no. This is a new era of energy sourcing. We cannot solve the problem with the same way of thinking that created it. The most common way people give up power is by not thinking they have any. We are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Don't let anyone ever tell you these strikes don't matter. We have more power than we realize. Look around you. There are so many of us here in the Rogue Valley and across the world that are terrified of the climate science, and we yearn to make a difference. The Josephine Climate Alliance is an organization that brings all of us like-minded organizations together for a collective action, systemic change. Our next speaker, Rihanna, is one of the authors of Talent's Clean Energy Action Plan. She is the chair of the city committee Together for Talent. She formerly sat on the board of Rogue Climate, and she works as the sustainability coordinator at the Ashland Food Co-op. Rihanna is here today to share some information about the Clean Energy Action Plan the Together for Talent Committee has been working on. Please give a warm welcome to Rihanna. Hi everybody, thank you for coming out today. My name is Rihanna and I'm from the City of Talent. Our first line of our Talent Clean Energy Action Plan is this. It is now an accepted reality that climate change is upon us. Our small town of 7,000 people wanted to make a difference and began the transition to clean energy. We started 4 years ago in 2015 by meeting together in the homes of our neighbors. We held events, we did phone banking, and we started talking to our mayor and our city councilors. It took an entire year of our community coming together and meeting regularly to write Talent's Clean Energy Action Plan. Our full plan is over 60 pages. It's huge, I swear. We had a core team of over 20 people from their 20s to their 60s and 70s coming together, researching, writing, and putting together our final Clean Energy Action Plan for the City of Talent, which was adopted by Council in April of 2017. Our plan calls for a just transition to 100% clean, renewable energy by 2030. We have 4 major goals. 1, conservation. We need to reduce our energy consumption by 30%. Second, renewable energy. We want to achieve 100% clean, renewable energy by 2030. Yes. Also, resilience. We want to protect against the rising cost of energy by transitioning from fossil fuels to renewables and protecting our environment. We also want to focus on local, strengthening our local economy and keep dollars spent and dollars saved right here in Southern Oregon. Thank you. There's a lot of work by a lot of people. That's right, they do. But I want to make this clear about our plan. Our city did not pay us any money whatsoever to write this plan. This plan was made by hundreds of volunteer hours from people just like you, people who are working full-time, people with families, people who are retired. It does not take $100,000 to write a clean energy action plan.
Yeah, right!
I want to tell you what it does take. It takes your time, it takes your attention, and it takes your commitment. And most importantly, it takes a community, all of you that are here today. You cannot do this alone. If you want a clean energy action plan, get to know the person who is standing right next to you today, who has showed up. Start getting involved today with the Josephine Climate Alliance. Give them your phone number and say, please call me tomorrow. You need to have alliances with one another to make a real impact. Again, how many of you know your mayor? Does your mayor know you by name? When was the last time you went to city council? Do you know anyone that's on your city staff? Have you made the time to talk to your city manager? Go in and start making these alliances today, because these are the people that you need to work with in order to make this reality happen. We have to work together. Again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. This has been done many times before, but we have to work together to set it in motion. And today, I just want to acknowledge that you've already done a huge, powerful action. You have shown up, which is one of the most important things that all of you can ever do, is just show up. Today, we are part of the world's largest global climate strike. We are asking our elected officials to be held accountable, and we also have to hold our energy utilities accountable. Talent, just like Grants Pass, is a customer of Pacific Power. Do you know where your electricity comes from? Over 60% comes from out-of-state coal. Pacific Power is refusing to make the transition to renewables. Pacific Power is a subsidiary of a massive international billion-dollar conglomerate, Berkshire Hathaway. Every time you turn on the lights in your home, a coal plant is spitting out carbon emissions, and dollars are flowing directly into the pockets of one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett.
Boo!
That's not very renewable. So I'm asking, why are we not protesting in front of the Pacific Power corporate offices every single day? We must hold our energy utilities accountable. We also must defend and protect our lands and our rivers against Pembina and the Jordan Cove pipeline. Yes, we've been fighting this for a very long time, folks, and the fight is not over. Today you've shown up for the climate strike, and I'm asking you to continue to show up to protect our state from these international corporations that want to profit off the destruction of our home, from LNG to out-of-state coal plants. I want to end with this. You all can write a clean energy action plan. It takes time, it takes coordination, and it takes community. You will definitely attend very boring meetings with city officials, I guarantee it. You'll argue about words, and in the end, you will have a plan. And if you don't have a plan, we're just running in circles here. We need to have a plan together. You can become an elected official. You can run for city council. You can join a city committee. You can join the Josephine Climate Alliance. You can fight the LNG pipeline. You can show up just like you have done today. And if you don't show up, it means someone else is making the decisions for you.